What's good, everyone? As you can see on screen, today I'm going to take you through my NRL Supercoach team. This is my first time doing this, but I thought it could make for some great content, and I know it's a pretty popular game. So what I'm going to do to start with, I'm just going to run through the team that I actually done just recently, like today. I just finished making the team. And one thing I will say, this is my first time playing, and let me tell you, I'm probably still not set on my team. I know a couple players that I want, but I feel as though it's one of those things where you're just going to keep changing it all the way up until round one. So I actually tried to film a video yesterday picking the team, but it ended up being like 30 minutes long and I hadn't got anywhere. So what I'm going to do is today I've got like the team pretty much sorted. As I said, it's the team I've got right now. We're going to run through it, each player at a time. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to run through this one player at a time. So I've zoomed the screen in here, but as you can see at hooker, I've got Api Coruscant. Reason behind Api Coruscant is pretty much, look, I think if the West Tigers, they're not a bad team. They can do well. Obviously, they haven't been doing well, but they can do well. And I think when Tigers do well, Coruscant's involved in a lot of things. He's obviously a gun player. He's going to play pretty much the 80 minutes week in, week out. So there was Harry Grant. Obviously, I think a lot of people will go Harry Grant, but I've sort of gone just the cheaper option. I know he's going to, play 80 minutes. He's going to pick up some good points. So yeah, I've gone Coruscant as my starting hooker. Moving on to the front rowers, I had to go Payne Haas. Obviously, Payne Haas speaks for himself, right? He's a beast. So I've had to go Payne Haas. He's going to play big minutes again. He's going to pick up points. Broncos are going to do well, I think, again this year. I think Broncos, personally, I think Broncos will make the grand final. I don't know if that's a big call, but I think they easily make the grand final again. Well, maybe not easily, but I see Broncos, going a long way. So I have gone Payne Haas. That's sort of, I don't really need to even explain Payne Haas. And then I've got Gurler. Now, this one, as I said, when I'm picking the team, there's so many different options you can go for. But I've gone Gurler here. He's not going to play full minutes, like the full 80, I don't think. Like, he's obviously comes off the bench. But I do like the way he plays. I think he's got potential when he comes on to, make some line breaks. And I don't know, I've just gone him. It's sort of an instinct pick, but I think he's a good player. I don't know if that'll translate into this Supercoach game. That's one thing I've got to understand, right? Because obviously, watching the game is different to playing Supercoach. So this is my first time doing it. I have gone Gurler. It might change, but they're the two front rowers I've got starting at the moment. Moving on to the back rowers. As you can see, I've got Ola Kawadu. That one's like a Payne Haas. No explanation needed. He's a beast. I had to have him in. Then I've got Luciano Leilua. Now this one's a bit instinct. Obviously, I like the Cowboys as well. I think the Cowboys will do pretty well this season. And Leilua, he is a beast. I mean, when he went from the Tigers to the Cowboys, when I was watching the Cowboys play, he was very good. And I think he's slightly underrated as well. So I think if he plays well, he can do well in Supercoach. So I have gone Leilua for now. But as I said, there's so many players when I'm looking through it they can choose from. This might change again. And then I've got Pikaru from the Broncos. I think that's a really solid pick. He's a cheaper option. I'm pretty sure he's going to start. And once again, he's one of those back rowers that is a beast. So I think he's going to pick up a fair few points. I think Broncos are going to do well as well. So they're the three back rowers I've got. But yeah, they might change, but they're the ones I'm sticking with at the moment. Moving on to the halfback at 5'8". Halfback, I've got Nathan Cleary. That's a no explanation needed one again. It's like Payne Haas, Ola Kawadu. You have to have him in the team. Panthers are going to do well again. Nathan Cleary, halfback. 5'8", Ezra Mann. He was sort of a bit of a cheaper option. So I've got Ezra Mann to start with. I think the Broncos will do well. And obviously Ezra Mann is going to be in a lot of the tries. And he's going to be, a big playmaker. So I have got Ezra Mann for the 5'8". Now the wingers and centers. Once again, one thing that I didn't realise is there's so many players you can choose from. It's hard to pick a team to start with. But I've gone Valame from the Cowboys. As I said, I like watching the Cowboys play, and I think Valame's a beast. He breaks tackles, he's going to score tries. I've put him in. I was going to go Holmes with the goal kicking and all that, but I have gone Valame. I don't know, I might change my decision, but that's how I've started. Then Joey Manu. I think you can't go wrong with Joey Manu. He's going to be involved in a lot of the Roosters' tries. He makes line breaks. I think that's once again, you sort of just have to have him in the team. Then I've got Cobbo. Cobbo, I think I rate him. I think he's a beast, and I've got him in the team. I think he's going to score a lot of tries. He's going to break a lot of tackles. I've got Cobbo in the team. And then I've got Bronson Sherry. Now this one was a cheaper option that I've gone with. He's untested, right? Hasn't played in a couple of years. So this one's a bit of a, it's a bit of a 50-50, you could say, but it might pay off. He's a cheap option as well. So to look at it, the wings and centers, I've sort of gone with just good solid players here. I haven't really gone too left field with any of the picks. I've just started with good solid players, and yeah, they're my wingers and centers. At fullback, I've got Reece Walsh. This was another hard decision. There's so many fullbacks you can choose from, but I think the Bronx will do really well this year, and I think they're going to score a lot of points as they did last season, and Reece Walsh is going to be involved in a lot of it. So for fullback, I have gone Reece Walsh. Now let's review the bench players. So at hooker, I've got T Smoothie. Now the bench for me was a tricky one because what I didn't realise is 4 players on the bench will add to the points of the team. And I didn't really think that through to start with, but then I realised you need 4 players on the bench that are going to be doing pretty good, right? Because they're going to add to the points of the team. As I said, this is my first time playing, so I still got to learn like all the rules, all the point scoring. But I've gone T Smoothie. It's the only option I could really put. He's a cheap option. I think he obviously comes off the bench for the Broncos, so I think he's going to get points, right? He's going to be playing week in, week out, coming off the bench. So I think he's a nice, solid option. Then for the front rowers, we've got Spencer Leniu and Xavier Wilson. Now I think Lenieu's a really good pick here, so I like him on the bench. I think it's a no-brainer, really. He's not going to play big minutes, but when he comes on, he makes an impact. So Leniu, I've gone him. And then Xavier Wilson, I think he's fairly unknown, but I hear that he's a gun, right? So I don't know how much game time he'll get, but once again, it's just one of those players. He was cheap, and I think he's going to play a bit week in, week out. So yeah, that's who I've gone for the front rowers. Then we've got the second row forwards. I've gone Tupanua. I think once again, that's a bit like a Leniu. I think he's a good pick. He's a solid player and he will get points. So yeah, that's really, some of these picks are just like good solid players, you get what I mean? Not going too left field with it. Aaron Clark, I will admit that is a bit of a left field one, I believe. But he's a beast, that guy. I've seen him play. I don't really watch the Titans play too much, but I have seen that E. Clark play, and he's a pretty good player, so I've just put him in there, really. And then Finifiaku. Now, I think he could be pick of the season. I don't know how he's going to find his way into that Cowboys team, to be honest. But if he somehow starts, because obviously the Cowboys team, the back row is there, a gun. So it's going to be hard for him to get in. But he's going to find a way in there somehow. And I think once he's in that team, he's not going to go back out of it. So I think that's a really good option. To start the season, I'm not sure if he'll get too many points. But it doesn't matter, right? Because he's a bench player. So I've gone him based on, I think if he gets his opportunity in the team, he's going to stay there. And I think, he's a real impact player. So Finifiaku there. And then the halfback at 5'8", I've got Jane Sullivan. I'm not sure how he's going to go at the West Tigers, but obviously Jane Sullivan, he's been touted as like a pretty good player. And I think we saw glimpses of it at the Dragons. So once again, that's sort of a pick where I could afford him. So I've just put him in. And I think he can go well as well, don't get me wrong. I think he can do well. And then the 5'8", I've got Kay Weeks. Don't know too much about him, but he was a cheap option. And I think he's going to be starting for the Raiders. So you can't really go wrong. Cheap option starting, pick up a couple of points. Moving on to the wingers and centres. E. Strange. I heard his name. I think he played for the New South Wales under-19s team like last year, was it? I'm not sure, but I don't know if he's going to start for the Raiders, but I've got him in there for now. Cheap option. K. Irura. Sorry if I said that name wrong. I've put him in as well. Once again, cheap option. Might get some game time. And then I've got Paul Turner from the Dragons. Once again, like these options, looking at them now, they're sort of just cheap. And I just hope they play some minutes here and there. I don't really know. But the bench, to be honest, the bench I've picked is sort of just players I can afford. I haven't really looked too much into it. One player I did look into though was Jaden Campbell. I think I've put a bit of money into that on the bench there for Jaden Campbell as the second fullback. I think he can do well there at the Titans. So yeah, look, the bench, I know I'm probably going to change it because it's so hard to choose bench players as well because there's so many players around that price tag where you don't know sort of what option to go with. You get what I mean? So they're the options I've gone with for now. There we have it. That's my team for now. As I said, probably guys that are playing Supercoach as well, you know your team's going to change before round 1, but that's the current team I've got right now. Even looking at it, just going through this, like when I was doing this video, even looking at some of the players, I'm going, should I have him in, should I not? So it's one of those things, right? You're not set on your team probably just before round 1. So that's the team. That's how it's looking. And yeah, like at the moment, I'm pretty happy with it. You know, I'm pretty happy with it. As I said, it's my first time playing as well, so I sort of got to learn, you know, how many trades I can make each round. I sort of need to learn the point system as well, exactly what players get points for. So I'll have to do a bit of research on that. But this is just the initial team I've gone with. Let me know what you think in the comments as well. But I might make this like a bit of a series. We might make it a series, and let's see how far up the comp we can finish. Let's try and get first place, I guess, in the Supercoach. But yeah, this is just the initial team. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what players you think are going to stand out. I think if you're playing Supercoach, we really need to find those cheap players that are going to be like, you know, breakthrough years. You get what I'm saying? But I think I've got a mix of good solid players and a couple of left field ones as well. So that's the team we've got for now. Make sure you like the video. And yeah, let me know if you want to keep seeing these type of videos. And as always, in the comments, have a chat. Let me know what players you're picking. And yeah, thanks for watching.